brands globally, automotive or not, consumer brands in general, people don't just want the product. They want to feel something. They want to feel a sense of belonging. I can see myself in X. I can see myself doing Y. And also, what else do we have going on right now? We have AI. Content is infinite. Content is cheap and easy if you want it to be. Real human connection becomes scarce, and it also
Hmm.
makes real human connection premium.
Welcome to a new episode of the eMobility Marketing Podcast. Today I'm here with Elena Ciccotelli, founder of the EVs for Everyone podcast. Elena, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Theo. It's great to see you.
Great to have you. So, Elena, you've spent the past years building bridges between the EV industry and everyday consumers through media, storytelling, and human connection. What do you think? Why do you think the human connection has become such an important part of growth in the e-mobility industry?
It's such a huge question, but it's also a really important one. So I want to bring us back in time a smidgeny bit here. So once upon a time, there were a whole lot of new Teslas on the market, and all the tech bros in Silicon Valley were driving Teslas. This was, I would say, 2016, 2017, right? And we had all these amazing spec sheets, right? It can
Mm-hmm.
go this far, and you can have a beautiful design and all these different wonderful specs, right? So these specs, they sold early adopters. We are no longer in that early adopter, I live in Silicon Valley, so I drive a Tesla phase, right? Human connection, I think, is going to sell to everyone else. So if you think about it, EV growth, it's no longer just about the tech. It's also about belonging, right? So if we break it down even further into like what's going on in the world right now, like we live in the creator economy. We live in the experience economy. So, what does this mean? So, this, for me, and what I'm seeing, just brands globally, automotive or not, consumer brands in general, people don't just want the product. They want to feel something. They want to feel, again, like I said, a sense of belonging. Like, yeah, I can see myself in X. I can see myself doing Y, right? And also, what else do we have going on right now? We have AI, right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
content is infinite, okay? Content is cheap and easy if you want it to be, okay? So that makes, in a really ironic sort of way, real human connection becomes scarce, and it also makes real human connection also premium. So how does this all kind of tie into e-mobility and electric vehicles and why you asked me to be here today, right? And so it really goes back to lifestyle and identity choice. It's not just about the powertrain. It's people are asking, instead of like, hey, what is the range? Yeah, that's one of the considerations and something that people need to know, but it's like, is this for people like me?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
really kind of tying that into your own self identity. And early on, I've had a lot of conversations with different industry leaders talking about the big marketing faux pas that the US had with EVs. And it was, we're selling these because it's going to be great for the environment. Automatically, you created a situation where it was us versus them. Okay. It was very tribal. It was like,
Yeah.
are you for the economy or not?
Not everyone cares about that. Yeah.
Are you for saving the earth or not, is what I should have said. And which is a horrible way to sell cars. So I think when we get into, yes, there is still that identity wrapped around it. Is this for people like me? But it really now comes down to that behavior change, right? You have to have some sort of connection, human connection, to somebody who has either made the switch to electric, a neighbor, a friend, a close inner circle, a creator that you trust,
Yeah.
that walks you through it, a real person who answers the questions that, like, hey, yeah, I had that question too. And yeah, but I watched this thing where Elena only charged it to 80% and it was fine. And right. So that's what makes that leap of faith a little bit safer,
It's
right?
about building trust, right? Learning from another human being, learning from real life experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're starting to get a little bit more into that, but that's why I started off by saying if we take a look at history and the rise of the electric vehicle in this country, it really did not have those elements really at all. It was just, hey, save the planet, drive an EV.
Yeah.
And now we're moving to a little bit more of maturity. We are still, people will argue, oh yeah, we're still super super early in electric vehicle transition in the United States, right? I have to always have a little asterisk in the
Yeah.
US, right?
Yeah.
We're way different than the
It's
rest
a
of the
different market.
world.
Yeah.
Different market, an
Absolutely.
important market, but
Hmm.
different. And so yes, we're, in the grand scheme of things, I guess we are still in the early days, but it's so, so important to remember. And this is what I always, when I talk to different brands and that are really leaning into electric vehicles, it's like, what are the ways that you're trying to create that human connection? Is it through like more intimate, small scale community building meetups, like not these giant spectacles that are maybe headed up by a celebrity? Because if anything, because of the creator economy and because of the really rapid rise of AI, people are really really like, that's AI and I don't even really trust it, right? I want to go to a real person and see what they have to say.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's what's interesting about what you just said. It's just like we're so much focused on the human connection between brands and consumers, but it's also what I sense a lot, like within the B2B space in the e-mobility industry. Like it's good if we know each other. Like some people, like most of the people are very open in working together. So I know you and you might need like another person that I know. So I'll do an introduction. And that's what I really like in our industry. And I also feel it's really important to make sure that the industry grows, that we have these human connections between all of us. Do you experience that the same?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that's why I'm such a big advocate for conferences. I speak at a lot of conferences. I record content at a lot of conferences, and it is true. It's a big world out there, but it is a small community. So, and that has its benefits too. But I think also too, if you're a newer brand coming onto the scene, you you can't you can't just like buy access into a community. Like you gotta do the work.
You got to earn it.
You
Yeah.
gotta earn it, yeah. So, we'll get into that a little bit deeper. I have some examples on that, but I think, yeah, you're right. Our community is really amazing, and people are genuinely wanting to help you, and
Yeah.
and that's what's also really great too.
It's an ecosystem. That's how I always like to explain it. And we built like a canvas for it. We had it on our website for a while. I think it's still there in the resource section. Like it's helping you to understand the ecosystem that you're in. So who are your potential partners? Where are the opportunities working together? And it's really like that, right? And it's evolved over time, but it's still like I feel like everybody knows each other and we all know what we're building. And yeah, it's really helpful to be connected and to help each other out where needed. And even like some direct competitors, they're close and they really help each other. That's the beauty of our industry.
Yeah. Oh, you mean the frenemies
Exactly.
that are, but yeah, but again, I think that's what also helps you to be your best. What is the saying? Iron sharpens iron. I probably got the saying wrong, but anyway,
Yeah, but I
I'm
get the point. Yeah,
human. It's okay. I'm not
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and like you said, it's now with the age of AI, it's becoming even more important to have those human connections. And that's what, like working on marketing in our industry, that's for us really important. You can really see the difference from something AI generated, something mediocre, and some piece of content that actually a copywriter has written. And you can see that people are picking up on this, and more people are talking about it. Like we don't care about what AI generated because it doesn't have the humor and the skepticism that we humans have. And you can see that's missing if it's fully AI generated. It's the same with building an entire category in the industry. Like the human touch is so important. And I think like one of the learnings from AI on my end is that we really learn from that the human connection is so important. It cannot just be a machine because it doesn't work that way. It doesn't connect with us humans very well.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think when we're talking about from a marketing perspective, when you start to have that as your front and center, if as your front person, if you will, brands will recognize it. Like people that you're trying to reach in the B2B marketplace, they'll recognize it immediately, and it's like I don't want to work with that person, or I don't want to work with that brand. And it's like, and also too, I'm picking up a lot of signals where people are now looking at that as lazy.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah, true.
the easy, like, okay,
The
it's
easy way.
the
Yeah.
easy way out almost, because then it's devoid of nuance. It's devoid of humor. Or I'll give you an example. So an inside joke, right? You know, you have your friends around the table, you have like this running joke with them back and forth, right? You have almost like this cultural touch point with your friends, or this group of friends, or you know, you're out to dinner with, say we're at a conference and we're all at a client dinner, and we have this rapport.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the part of the AI generated stuff that's really missing. It could hook you in, right? Because we know scientifically the algorithm knows the certain hooks and this and that hook you
Mm-hmm.
in. But then it's like, as with that skeptical eye, it's like, wait, this is AI. Okay, I don't know, maybe it's not going to have the deeper level
Yeah.
that. And also too, what I will say is you'll see the brands right away that do make the effort to
Mm-hmm.
tap into the creator economy. I'm getting way ahead of myself because I have so much to say about that, but
Yeah, sure. Let's
anyway.
revisit it later. For me also, like when I see clear AI generated content, I always wonder, does that person really think that way and feel that way, or is it just generated to get some attention, right? I think more people are picking up on that. Do you think that the industry underestimates the role of like personal connections, like being a personality, storytelling and driving adoption and business growth? Like, is that something that's missing? Like, does every business understand this?
Well, I think the ones that understand it well are the ones that are winning huge. I'm going to give an
Mm-hmm.
example of a non-automotive mobility example, and this happened recently. It happened this month. It was at the Met Gala. Okay, so there was a viral clip of this PR assistant, and she was running around like a diva and telling people where to go, and she was wearing these red flats from Tory Burch.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
she became called, her name on the internet is Red Flats Queen.
Okay.
It went
Yeah.
viral. Everyone's like, man, like I will do whatever that lady tells me to do. Like it caught the attention
Mm-hmm.
of a whole lot of people really quickly. Now, here's what Tory Burch, the brand, actually did that was right. They leaned into that and they said, "Ooh, this is really catching fire. We can sell some shoes on this."
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
what they did is they did a parody. They did a parody of that viral video.
Okay.
Another girl kind of with a whole clothesline, and really what her role was is she's trying to direct traffic, tell people where to go, just generally ushering people in a very diva sort of way. And
Mm-hmm.
so the campaign that they did was very like low tech, probably shot on an iPhone, but she's shuffling around in those iconic red flats, and guess what, they sold out. Now there was
Right.
there's an example that I think, just as marketers, as people who build content for a living, we can really learn from this. And that is, you don't spend time debating on the cultural moment. You contribute to the
Hmm.
moment. Contribute to it. Don't try and say, "Oh, we're going to tap into this," and I don't know, maybe it gets lost somewhere on a whiteboard. God forbid there's an email thread, 10 things, and it gets lost in the red tape. It never makes it through legal.
Right. Yeah.
But what they did was they did it in a timely way and they jumped on it, and the reward was huge. So I
Yeah.
think we can kind of all take that as a lesson, and it's like, you contribute to the culture in that
Hmm.
way. It already struck a chord with people because they either see themselves as that girl, or they see themselves like being friends with her, or have encountered her archetype in the wild before.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is something that, we can all, I think, take a lesson from.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And on that sense, like how important are podcasts and events and like building these personal relationships in that matter? Because it's also what we're doing, right? You yourself with your podcast, like sharing this knowledge, sharing this vision, and people will learn from it. Like it doesn't directly benefit you, but in the end, you're contributing to the knowledge and sharing what's working and what's not working in the industry. And we're doing the same here today, right? So how important is this for the industry?
It is paramount. Like, I'm not just saying that as a creator myself. It is, I mean, go Google it or chat GPT it. Forbes, Business Insider, Variety, they're all saying the same thing, and that is, you got to treat your company like a media company,
Right.
period. Okay, because you get long form content is now being clipped, right? Clipping all of these long form podcasts, what we're doing today, YouTube videos, you name it, is all being clipped into that short form and is being distributed on a wide variety of platforms, right? So now, what's also interesting, Theo, I just read about this about 3 or 4 days ago. And the interesting thing now is the clip is the product.
Right. Yeah.
Before, we were using the clip to drive people to the long form content, and
Hmm.
now it's almost like flipped on its head a little bit, because people, I'll give an example of another podcast. You'll have to put it in the show notes. I don't remember the name of it, but they were saying that their subscribers and their audience only recognizes them from the clips. Oh yeah, I saw you watch your oh, you listen to the show? No, I just watch your clips.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but okay, what does this mean for brands then, right? So I think this is the brand's opportunity to partner with diverse creators,
Hmm.
niche voices, right? Not just like the big name celebrity. Oh, we have to do a campaign with Jennifer Aniston, or unless you're BYD, you can do a you can do a spread with Daniel Craig and James Bond. Like, lean further into those voices that are already trusted. They're an authentic voice in the community, and it's also, it brings like this human breath of fresh air to your brand, because you're like, oh wow, you not only do you become everywhere all at once, right? Because you have all the short form content just blasting over all of these platforms, but then it's like people can recognize that you've taken the time to understand the cultural moment. I will give you another example. This is an example from Liquid Death.
Hmm.
It's water.
Right.
Liquid Death didn't win because they had better tasting water. And I will say water because I'm from South Jersey, okay?
Okay. Yeah.
Not because it tasted better, but because they had an insane amount of clips, insane amount of short form content spread around all these different platforms, get it, like, really targeting into the zeitgeist and really tapping into the emotion, into the identity of who drinks liquid death, right? And like getting into all of these different archetypes or consumers that would potentially be a customer. And they blew up overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Completely skyrocketed, blew up. Like you went from not knowing what liquid death was to last conference I went to, their whole thing was like, come to our booth and we'll have a happy hour with liquid death.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's almost like a tongue-in-cheek thing because you feel like you're in on the joke, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they were winning. And then if you want to have another example of like this insider culture, do you remember Labubu?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's not really as huge as it was last year, right? We were like all living in the Labubu.
Yeah, it kind of exploded last year. It was crazy.
Yeah, Pop Mart, right? And
Yeah.
so for them, it was creating this collector culture and
Mm-hmm.
creating like, what is this? How do I think about bringing this, in my opinion, really ugly doll thing
Yeah.
front of this thing that looks like Teddy Ruxpin like on crack, and women are wearing them on their designer purses. Why? Because they contributed to the culture,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So
Yeah.
that's where I think brands, especially in electric vehicles and especially in e-mobility, are missing the damn boat because they are not contributing to culture.
No. I agree. I agree. There's so much more that they could be doing, and it's yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
And you can use creators to do it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing. And it doesn't have to be like this big elaborate. I think a lot of people think about all the beauty influencer campaigns, right? Because that's such a huge category. Beauty is such a gigantic category for influencers
Mm-hmm.
and creators. And I think that's what comes to mind first, but there's also really smart, clever ways that you can get in on that creator economy. I went on a completely like way crazy tangent and I apologize.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's interesting what you said that this short form content resonates way better because people have very short attention spans these days, right? So it needs to be quick, short, and we see it with the podcast as well. Not a lot of people watch it till the end on YouTube, for example, but they do watch like the first minutes. And if you're really into it, then you'll keep listening. But most of the time, the shorts perform way better, and that's the way it's evolving. And like you said, there's such an opportunity for e-mobility companies to become part of that, like even join a podcast like ours, or there's so many creators that you could work with, and just having that short form content created and being spread all over social media and the broader internet, that's going to help you a lot. And yeah, I fully agree. It's still, if you look at the industry, and I don't know how you experience this, but still a lot of technical people with no clue on how to market things. And I know that there's a balance, of course, but yeah, in general, there's so much opportunity for great marketing to stand out, and it's just not being done. It's yeah. Is that what you see as well?
Yeah, I think they're still selling voltage and
Yeah, yeah.
they're not selling a story because people are going to be buying a story about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is. And
Yeah,
they're still, and I'll go, not to pick on EV brands or just really any e-mobility company these days. You're speaking engineer. And I am not an engineer. I've
yeah,
been in the
absolutely.
automotive industry for almost 15 years now, and I'm still not an engineer. That is not my expertise, but I mean, I've been around the jargon for, I would like to think, a lot longer than a normal person, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what does the quote unquote normal person want
Yeah,
want to know about your brand, your EV brand? Is this going to make my life easier? Am I going to be cooler because of it?
yeah,
Is it
yeah,
going to make me less stressed out? And so what are behind the acronyms? What's behind the kilowatts? What's behind the range? It's human outcomes. That's what
absolutely.
it is. It's like I've got I don't know. I don't know why this is not a commercial. Please OEM call me up. We'll do a commercial because this I think is gold. You have a father who's trying to get to his daughter's dance recital. Okay, that's the problem, right? And she's looking out in the audience. Oh, he's not there. He's not there. He's got driving an EV, and he's like, oh, I've got, I don't know, 80. No, I'm sorry. I've got 50% charge on my car. Am I gonna make it? And I have to
Yeah.
go. I don't know. Maybe it's not 100 miles, but 80. I'm like grossly like overestimating here. Long story short, he ends up making it. Range wasn't a problem. He sits down into the audience. He gives her flowers. Everybody's happy. The sun sets. They walk towards the vehicle. The sun is setting, holding hands.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
It's like,
Yeah.
okay, and now I messed up the numbers really horribly, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
People
Yeah, but it's also like humanizing that story. And you don't want to know how many times we had these conversations with our CPO clients. Like they're very proud of installing a 300 kilowatt charger. Nobody cares about those 300 kilowatts. Explain why that is so relevant. So you can, if you come to us, we'll charge your EV in like 15 or 20 minutes. You are on 80%, you're good to go. Like something around that. And I know that can be a much better story, but you shouldn't be talking about all these technicalities because nobody cares. That's at least, I think also a part of the problem is that in like a couple of years ago, a common EV driver would be someone with a technical background, really excited about owning or driving an electric vehicle. So they knew about the data, they cared about all the details and the technicalities. But these days, like anyone is driving an EV, so you don't want to bother your audience with that. Like nobody cares anymore. Like the biggest part of your audience cares about how fast it is it easy, does it always work, can I trust your brand? If I see your brand and I go there, will it always work? Is it easy? Things like that. That's what your marketing should be about. And then like the story you mentioned is a great example. Like that's gold. I mean, showing in everyday situations how easy it is and how it works, and you don't have to be afraid about range or charging times and things like that. That's what the narrative should be about.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said in the beginning, it's people don't connect to the specs of the vehicle. Yeah, they're going to, once they're ready to make the down payment or sign on the dotted line, oh yeah, I should probably know some things about this vehicle, right? But it's also it's easier to connect when we're talking about way top of the funnel stuff.
Yeah,
Awareness, do you exist, are you relevant in my life? It's way easier to connect on a story about your neighbor who took their first all EV road trip and
exactly.
didn't die.
Yeah. Yeah. He didn't run out of energy, didn't die, nothing happened.
They survived to tell the
Yeah.
tale.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things like there's such an opportunity there to tell a different story. And it's what I always tell people as well. Like I remember the first time I drove an EV, it was a Tesla actually, like about 5, 6, well, even longer, 7 years ago probably. And it was so cool. And that's one of the things like you have to experience it. Like step into an EV, drive a couple of 100 kilometers, whatever, or rent one for a weekend and just experience it. Because then you will also experience these days that you can charge everywhere. That's not a problem. It's easy. You connect, like it works. You grab a coffee or a hamburger on the way or whatever you prefer, and you come back and your vehicle is charged. It's not a problem at all. But a lot of people made up their minds a couple of years ago and they think the situation hasn't changed and it's still like, yeah, range is an issue and I can't charge everywhere and all these problems they see, but they disappear once you've experienced it yourself. And that's one of the things that I believe is like your neighbor telling you on a birthday party that it's so cool to drive an EV. If you experience it yourself, then you would have already made up your mind about it. And I think that's something that we need to work on a lot also in our marketing, like showing, like you mentioned, showing everyday life, how easy, how fun it is. And it's actually like there's so many, sorry to keep on talking here, but there's so many benefits to it, right? It's not, if you drive like a petrol vehicle, it's just, you fill it up and you drive for, I don't know, 700, 800 kilometers and then you fill it up again and you continue. But with an EV, you can use it for like as a home battery, for example. And there's so many other things you can do with it. And as long as you're charged just, full enough to reach your destination, that's enough. And it's a different way of kind of moving and using a vehicle, and that's what people need to start to understand like it's fun, it's easy, it's a different approach. And yeah, besides the clean energy and that you're doing something good for the environment as well, I don't think that's the main angle anymore, like you said. But there's also a lot of fun in driving an EV, and yeah, that's what we should be talking about.
Oh, yeah. So there are so many good points of what you just said, and it really reminds me of this great example from BYD. And that is, we talked about the experience economy a little bit. This is taking the experience economy and just completely putting it on steroids. So I don't know if you know this, but BYD has restaurants all over Singapore. Have you heard this?
No, I haven't, but I can imagine they
So they
do.
have
Yeah.
restaurants. They start, I think they're up to 6 or 7, and it's called BYD by 1826. The concept is a modern, decentralized country club.
Okay.
Pet friendly. You
Mm-hmm.
go in, you have a beautiful meal. I'm a very big dog person. You can bring your dog with you. And oh, by the way, there's a BYD shark
Right.
in the restaurant in the restaurant there, right? So in the US, we've seen this, well, not to that level. I'm sorry. We've seen brands incorporate cafes into their showrooms. Like
Mm-hmm.
that happens. But this is on a whole different level
Yeah.
because you're moving away from that hard selling atmosphere. You're creating a comfortable environment. Customers can come in and have this lifestyle experience. Bring your family, bring your friends, and you make your decision on your own
Mm.
time. So it's, again, we were talking about building community first, lifestyle, experiential hub, right? I've got my dog with me and he's happy because he's eating salmon and jasmine
Yeah.
rice. So that type of experience, bringing in electric mobility, food, design, culture, all coexisting together, but in the
Yeah.
world, I think we should all take a page from what is happening there. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you're not aware, go and Google it. Chat GPT it. You could tell I'm an elder millennial because my first thing
You
is
start
go
with
Google
Google.
it, but my first thing should be go Chat GPT it. But
Yeah.
that it's a real thing. It exists. It's happening now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an experience, right? Build the experience, show what it's about. Like, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think it's also one of the things that Tesla tried to do, or still doing today, like
They
with
tested
their charging
water.
stations and
Yeah.
everything. I still hear a lot of people talking about, like, yeah, when I go to Tesla, there are like 24 stalls and I can always charge. And if I go to like another brand, like a multi-brand charging station, then maybe there are 4 stalls or 8 and they're all occupied. And, so they're still making that difference. And I think it's a very smart thing to do. And also when they launched in Europe at the time, like they started building the charging infrastructure because it wasn't there yet. So you cannot sell a vehicle if you cannot charge it. So that's what they've done in a very smart way. And it also kind of shaped the experience. And like I said, still today, people are telling me, like, yeah, when I go with my Tesla to a Tesla charger, I just plug it in and it works and I don't have to worry about it. And when I go somewhere else, I have to pay and I have to do this and do that. Like that's the kind of experience that people are looking for. And they've done that really well. But now it's also a matter for other CPOs to start building such a similar experience and do even better. So you kind of attract the people that are now fans of Tesla and they would come and charge with you. And I think that's the big opportunity in the market.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we're starting to see the EV sales, new retail sales registrations coming down in the last month or so, the Cox Automotive data came in and saying,
Mm-hmm.
yes, it is down, but we're also looking at improving infrastructure at the same time. So it's that double-edged sword, that balance that continues to, I think, plague really the EV economy, really the EV brands, anybody that participates in that ecosystem. It's this balance that is,
Yeah.
quite frankly, unpredictable.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, like in the US, a lot of charging stations are being built right now. And of course, it's a huge market. So there's a lot of stations to build. But we've seen the same in Europe a couple of years ago. Like, for example, if you would travel from Amsterdam to the south of Europe, to Spain or wherever you want to go, you have to go through France. But France was really known as the charging desert. Like there were hardly any fast chargers. There was a lot of issues with hardware that was available. And so that was a big problem. But if you would do the same trip today, you can charge everywhere in France. It's really modern, everything, working perfectly. And they've made a big step. And I see that happening across the US as well now, like a lot of stations being built and new brands coming up, and also the existing brands expanding their infrastructure. And that's going to have a big impact on the EV sales, like for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And when you talk about how to market that, what is the story? What is the human connection that you can tie into it? Like it's all fine and good to show me pretty pictures of I hate to bust on Ayana for this, but I'm going to. So I have lots of amazing pretty pictures of the Ayana stations and it looks really retro and cool. Why don't you tap into the creator economy a little bit more, Ayana, and go ahead and have more road tripping stories from
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to
why
say that
don't
as well.
that's such an obvious play. Like, why are you not doing that? Anyway,
Yeah.
that's my
Yeah.
2 cents.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually funny. Like when my wife and I, when we got married, like many years ago, we like for our honeymoon, we rented a car and we drove down the Route 66 all the way from Chicago to LA.
Nice.
And I would tell people all the time, like even on the podcast, I think a while ago, that I would really like to do that trip, like maybe in 5 or 10 years from now, like when we have to celebrate like our many years of marriage, to do the same trip in an EV and see if that's, if
Yeah.
we can do it by then. And I'm sure we can. Like the development goes really fast now, but those kind of road trips, you can create so much content around that. Like you can travel from A to B, and look, it's if you do it by EV, it's so much fun, and this is where you can charge. And by the way, if you charge here, there's a really cool restaurant or a hotel here, and things like that. We've discussed the same topic with one of our CPO clients recently, but they're still not doing it. And I don't understand it. Like just build these road trips and advise people on where to go and what to do and how fun it is, and that's a real opportunity.
But here's also the other thing too, that these brands are they're totally missing the mark. It's like, yeah, you want to open this up to the younger generation, you want to open this up to Gen Z.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to relate to you one little bit if they don't see themselves in that story. Okay, it's just you're just losing on so many different fronts. Like, I can get my car charged in this amount of time, and I can get free Wi-Fi at the cafe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I have a Tesla, I got Starlink, whatever, I just
Yeah,
sit in the
exactly.
car and like
I don't care. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't care. So you have to, again, when we're talking about culture and how are you contributing to culture, there's so many ways. It's like you can just look at what is happening with just the exposure to the US, to the American consumer of the Chinese EV. And
Mm-hmm.
this has exploded over the past couple of months, right? That you know what you know what some of these companies did? They invited the influencers over to the Beijing Auto Show
Mm-hmm.
for free and go and create content. Now it's in the American consciousness. Oh,
So all
wait,
that content is
I can
flooding
get
over the internet.
it's right. Do you see how much power that is? Like
Yeah,
that is
absolutely.
we're talking about some geopolitical stuff that I am
Mm.
not that educated to really fully know about.
Yeah.
But I know it's not friendly. And
Yeah.
so when we talk about having that much power at your fingertips in a decentralized way where you can spread this across multiple content creators, why are you not doing that? Anyway, I'm sorry I'm getting hostile now, and it's not.
No, but it's a fair point.
We express the same frustration, I think.
Yeah, we do. And there's such an opportunity. And like some companies do get it, but there are a lot that are just not getting it yet. And they're focused on very traditional marketing channels. Yeah, again, there's so much opportunity out there.
Well, and also to be fair, like we got to make sure these things work. Okay.
Hmm.
We've got a lot of bad press around the fact that only a certain percentage of the chargers that work with public charging is going to fail. It's going to end in a failed charging session. We've got a lot of bad press to also
Yeah,
overcome. But again, how do you get over that bad press? You start making content with
absolutely.
people doing real stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and media will always be about things that are not working. So that's the
Right.
bad press you'll always get. But indeed, it's also an opportunity for brands to show the positive story about it and everyday life. And yeah,
Yeah, and they also think though too, this is another philosophy that I'm also hearing from a lot of CPOs now that we're kind of on the topic. It's like build it and they will come. Okay.
hmm,
Yeah, that's a fair point because they're also using the philosophy of like how do you become the most popular person in high school? How do you become that really popular person? You throw a party. You invite the whole school goes to your party, and then the next day what
yeah,
happens, you're, oh, that was great. When you throw in that party again, or when's the next one? Like I had such
yeah,
a great time. And then you become part of the culture, right? Like that's the oldest trick in the book right there. So they're
yeah,
thinking about just I built this, people will just show up. Okay, yeah, that'll be true for a smaller percentage, but how do you actually get the ROI back from all the capex that you just spent and you're probably very sad about, and you want to recoup some of those losses? You got to tell a different story.
absolutely. And it's one of the things that a lot of CPOs are forgetting. It's all about building locations, like build, build, build. But how do you get people there? And at some locations, if they are really, really good, then people will come because they need to charge at that location. That's perfect. But a lot of locations, like utilization is running far beyond what they expected. And that's also where you can apply marketing. It's not that difficult. Like the right audience apparently doesn't know that location exists because you didn't do any marketing on it. So let's start there. It's not very complicated, but they're not just not doing it. It's yeah, that kind of build it and they will come is still a mindset that you see all over the industry. And the thing today is also that you can build a nice location, but your competitor might be right next to it and another one next to that. The consumer has options today, so why would they come to you? Is it the nice roof, or do you have something else to offer? Right? It's not about your technology because it's the same then that your competitor has installed next door. So it has to be about something else, and that's where the opportunity is today. Yeah, a lot of CPOs are struggling there, and there's yeah. Anyway, they should talk to us, Elena.
Or listen, they should just listen to this episode. Do you realize how many golden nuggets of information we've already, uh,
Yeah,
you know,
and it's all for free, so just take it and do it. Yeah,
yeah, just listen to this episode.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, so we've come to the end of this episode as well. I mean, I think we can keep talking for hours, but
Yeah.
yeah, let's finalize the episode for now. Is there anything that you wanted to say that we haven't talked about yet?
No, I think I we really covered really the gamut here. I think what I do want to stress is that it doesn't take any more resources, brain power, dare I say bandwidth to lean into what's happening in culture right now, contribute to it in a meaningful way. Because then the story will happen organically. That's the cool part. And the other cool part is that there's people like you and I out here doing what we do, and we can help you with that, right?
Exactly.
We can, partner up. Let's think of what are the ways in which you as a brand can deliver like no other, and why are you relevant? Why should I care about you? So
Yeah.
there is a huge opportunity now. I think AI, quite frankly, scares a lot of people, kind of still does. We're in this like kind of weird limbo with AI, super helpful. And then also we got to, put some of the guardrails up on it. But I think it also taps into something deeper, which is human connection is at a premium. Taste is at a
Mm.
premium. So, who are the tastemakers in this industry? Who are the people with an authentic, trusted voice? And surround yourself with those people because they're out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's one of the reasons why I started Next Industry, my company many years ago. That I thought we've built all this experience in a couple of years' time, like how to run marketing in this space, and we're here, like we can help other companies as well, and that's why we exist. So it's like, come to us and we'll help you with your strategy and whatever is needed to make it happen. And it's the same on your end, right? So yeah, embrace that experience and that knowledge that's available today. And yeah, I think it's nice. It's a big opportunity.
Yeah, it is. If you're willing to take that step. And I understand, and look, it's easy to get quagmired into legacy, bureaucracy. I worked in corporate for a very long time, and I get it. It's a fine line that you have to dance. But if you know somebody who knows how to tango,
Yeah,
then
exactly.
then you're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess this is also something that evolved over time. Like some of these companies, they were very small in the beginning and you could do a lot of fun stuff without asking legal if it's okay. But today, like long processes, red tape, like that's why a lot of things are just not happening. And maybe sometimes you should be a little bit more adventurous and just do it. And you can always say sorry afterwards, right? And
Well,
that's also an approach that, yeah.
that's what the lesson from the Red Flats Queen,
Yeah, exactly.
Tory
Yeah.
Burch, like they're a huge global brand.
Yeah. Yeah, if they can do it, then anyone in our industry can do it as well. That's
wasn't it wasn't such a like a stretch of the imagination. It was just somebody in an office saying yes, hit publish.
let's do it. Yeah. Well, Elena, let's leave it with that. So thanks for joining me today on the eMobility Marketing Podcast. We'll make sure that your details are in the show notes, and I highly recommend watching your podcast or listening or watching whatever you prefer to your podcast as well. To our listeners, if you enjoyed the conversation today and if it was valuable to you, make sure you subscribe to our podcast, and I'll see you next time in a new episode of the eMobility Marketing Podcast.